I need more space for these dogs. Trevor, I know. I'm asking.
We can find a small business loan that works for you.
He wants to know if you can help us open a second location.
We can help you grow. For every banking need, there's only First Source Bank.
FirstSource.com. Member FDIC. Spotify Premium is the best way
Kind of weird.
I'm watching it. I can see everybody in my
But then again,
backstage
my
on
phone's
mine.
always weird when we're doing this. So
I can see everybody on my backstage, and I can see everybody on the Twitch screen.
Okay, we got. I can hear Patrick. Okay. Not super low anymore like he was last week.
The Plotoween thing is cute. I like it.
yeah, it's really
Almost
cute.
looks a little low. There we go.
Cash seems so tiny compared to us.
Not. But what I can do is move her up.
That may help. It may be because part of hers cut off. Just an itty bitty thing on the screen.
Yeah. Izzy or me? Because I got my crown. Because Halloween month. I've got a crown on because it's Halloween month. I'm channeling my inner sea queen.
Okay. Last one I need to hear. Our fearless leader.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
All right. Okay. So I can bring our stream down really low because I hear you guys 5 seconds before everybody else. Well, everybody's the same size. Don't know what to tell you, Leon.
Other than the fact
Probably
that most of
something
us
to
are
do
on
with our devices would be my guess.
Yeah. The chat is going over the line.
It is. I see that now.
Okay. Just making sure that it wasn't just happening on mine.
There we go. That should be better. There we go.
Yes, my
Gorgeous. Yes, the chat is almost always over the line, but not the actual physical line, Leon. All right, loves. We ready to get this party started?
Yeah, just a few quick things before we start out tonight. You are watching the Hold My Pen Promptcast. For all intents and purposes,
Julie
all
talking.
works that are produced tonight belong to the author. And no rights or replication should be done of it unless you have the writer's explicit permission. We do have the writer's permission. That's why it's performed here. As such, no replication of this, including our voices, are allowed to train AI. Just throwing that out there just to be on the safe side with that. Also, get your snacks, get your tissues, get your books if you want to throw them at the damn screen, but you are at your own freaking discretion at that, because let's face it, we are not responsible if you crack your screen. We are
So
not
not.
responsible. So,
And we're not paying for gas money if you're coming after us.
Yeah, that either.
No, but I do have the tendency to feed the people that, like, oh, bless your heart, and then feed you. Because that's just the way that goes. So let's dig in, buckle up, keep it respectable, people. That's all I ask. Keep it respectable. But let's see how many times we can use the word fuck tonight. So, without further ado,
Fuck.
I was told that apparently I use fuck like it's a comma, and I've never felt prouder than when I heard that.
Uh-huh. Same.
Yeah.
I
So,
heard that at the funeral home today.
Yeah. So, without further ado, welcome to the Hold My Pen Promptcast. I am your host, Julie DeFisher, author of Destined for More, the Four Queens for Four Kings series, the Destin Chronicles, the Crossroads, the Double Edge series, and the newest one that is being performed here tonight. You have our lovely, I don't know what we call you anymore. I love you, but I don't know what to call you anymore. Because first it was our extreme reader, and then our extreme reading tracker. But our
Look,
co-host,
I'm just the Izzy.
Yes.
All right? I am
Co-host.
just the Izzy. At work, I'm just the Lizzie. So here, I'm just the Izzy, okay?
Evil genius in tow.
Right.
Yeah, there is that.
So,
You might.
and then over under Izzy. I don't know if I'm even pointing because the way I point my hands and then screen shows me another way. Over under Izzy, you have PA Power, and then you have Miss Kesh Butler, and then right under me we have Miss CM McCormick. So
CR.
CR, sorry. My bad.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you don't get as bitchy about it as Patrick when we accidentally put an S on the end of his name.
Damn right.
You
Fuck,
should
get my
see
name
me
right.
you should see me when someone spells my my last name with an I instead of an A.
Oh, God.
Yeah, then I get bitchy.
Look, the fact that I have to remind people that Julie is spelled Julie and not Julye or double E or with an A. Yeah. I have never
That's
seen
fair.
my name spelled misspelled more times in my life than I did while I was in school.
Oh. I once had a teacher spell my first name CharOlette.
Charo?
Charles?
Charolette. A teacher.
Oof. Now, what gets me is when a coworker reaches out to me on Microsoft Teams, which is a closed, we have it closed systemized for our use. But it says there, right there, when they're looking me up, Lizzie, and yet they type Lizzzy. It's right there. It's right there in front of your freaking fucking face. And you still can't spell it right. Now, as you can see, when I'm Izzy, it's spelled with a Y because Izzy is 4 letters, Lizzie is 6. Okay? We got to keep it even.
Because we're odd enough alone.
Exactly.
Every single one of my names is an odd number. Every single, all 4 of them, they're all odd.
Well, here's the thing. My first name, Elizabeth, 9 letters? No, 8 letters. 8 letters. All of my last names. Now, for those who know, you know. I am currently on my 7th last name. Okay? And the first 6 were all 6 letters.
Oh, okay.
The 7th is 7 letters. So, there we go. My middle name is 5 letters.
Isn't there some old lore where the 7th son of the 7th son is supposed to be born a demon or a devil or some shit like that?
Or the
Marked by
savior
the
of
devil.
mankind.
Yeah.
Magical.
Gonna kind of interject. I'm having to listen to Patrick and Julie on one device and you guys on the other, so my parts of the conversation might get kind of like delayed.
Not sure how you're pulling that off, but good to know.
I told you I'm not seeing Patrick and Julie in backstage, so I don't hear them.
Right.
Ah, gotcha.
But I don't know why. The only other thing would be to pop out, pop back in,
Yeah.
disconnect and come back.
I'll try it.
Yeah, it's an option.
All right. I'll be
That
right
way
back.
for 2 hours you're not. Yep.
Huh? What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
for 2 hours mucking around and listening to it off, like that would just drive me bonkers.
if she has to rely on the stream,
And
there's a
let's-
chance they will mess her up.
Yeah. And let's face facts, I have known her nearly 30 years. Therefore, I know she's already bonkers enough. We don't need to go the wrong direction with that bonkers.
It's only the wrong direction if you look at it the wrong way.
No. We want the fun bonkers.
Yeah, fair.
Not
No,
the padded room bonkers.
that is fair. That's entirely fair. Yes.
But we already have that.
Let me see here. Do I have to re-invite her? Possibly. Okay. Sent it again. That is correct. She shared that, so we can discuss. No, my first name is Elizabeth. It's 9 letters. Okay.
Why is my generator doing that? It should have plenty of gas. And that's not what
Did
it
you
sounds
just
like.
get it back?
No, it's still the old shitty one, but
Oh.
it's not chugging the way it does when it's out of gas. It's doing something weird.
Define weird.
Yay! Okay.
It does
It
a
worked.
slow rev and chug, but now it's chugging.
Hey!
It worked. Okay.
I don't have any more gas, so if I drop out, sorry.
Okie dokie. Well, yeah, definitely not. Okay, so let us get started here. As you know, if you were here last week, our prompt was to use this dialogue. So you've been living in denial all these years? And first up, PA Power. Leon, leave it go. Leave it alone. All right. Ashes and chains. Sleep had not been kind, haunted by Cassian's last scream and the stench of his blood. Morning crept in through the mist, prying at their shuttered windows. Eric lay tangled in Tristan's arms, the weight of loss pressing down heavier than any dream. The fire had burned low. The world felt too still until the scream came. A child's voice, shrill and sobbing, carried down the lane. They're dead! Papa and Mama, they're all bled dry. The lovers exchanged a glance, horror, then recognition. They stripped off their ruined clothes and threw them into the fire, the smell of burning blood filling the hearth. Washing quickly, they dressed in clean garments and sprinted toward the sound, hearts pounding like war drums. When arriving at the Miller property, the air was thick and heavily scented. The copper reek struck them before the doorway. It was everywhere, thick, metallic, cloying. But it was the sight that stopped them cold. Gloria, the miller's maid, lay broken in the garden. The air was thick with the copper reek of blood and something sourer, rot setting in too quickly, as if the flesh itself refused to wait for death. Flies pulsed in and out of her open mouth, the only movement left in her body. Her chest was torn open, ribs splayed like a butcher's rack. Her throat was hollow, tongue ripped away. Her mouth gaped eternally, unable to speak of what she had seen. Eric stumbled to the doorway of his childhood home and retched. Inside, his parents lay tossed aside as if discarded. His mother's body was a patchwork of bite marks, as though the thing had fed, and fed again, unable to stop. Her eyes stared glassy at the ceiling, almost as if she watched her very soul flee for the heavens. A loud, drowning sound filled the air as flies already buzzed over their bodies. Eric's voice cracked. How did Adam survive if our folks... Tristan's whisper was hoarse. This is what that thing was trying to stop. The one Cassian fought. I killed him when his own curse overtook him. The rumors were true, Eric. He was one of the werewolves. They weren't the threat. They were the protectors, and I killed one. No, Eric rasped, shaking. He was going to tear our Calvin apart. I have no sympathy for that flea-bitten man. Tristan placed his arm around Eric. He has to be weak. Or dead. The fight was over. His throat closed, memory of Calvin's lifeless body stealing the air from his lungs. Adam! He screamed, racing back outside. He found his younger brother alive, clutching himself in terror, and pulled him into his arms. Tristan's tone was controlled, almost too calm. Adam, how did you survive this? The stench of blood still clung to their clothes when they found the boy. The world had ended, and here stood his little brother, blushing like a schoolboy caught sneaking out. Adam flushed. I was at Sandy Pritchard's. Her folks are out of town, and we were... Well, Eric, last I checked, I am practically a man, and any decent man needs a wife. Eric almost laughed, a sharp, broken sound that wasn't humor. His brother's innocence felt obscene against the carnage around them. No offense, Tristan. Eric, I know you two love each other. Hey, where is Calvin? The three of you are never apart. Tristan and Eric exchanged a grim look. Neither spoke, the fear they both knew, that Calvin will be among the missing. Eric exhaled shakily, clutching him tighter. I'm grateful you weren't here. We'll discuss your choices later. They left the Miller house behind, the stench clinging to their clothes as dawn painted the rooftops in ash. By the time the sun rose, their fears were echoed across the village. The village square seethed with chaos as more people crowded in, each bringing grim tales of bodies found torn apart in the night. A man near the well snorted as they passed. Well, look who's here. Two of the three hens. What's the matter? Did your rooster fly the coop? Tristan's jaw tightened, but Eric's hand found his. They said nothing. Let the fool talk. They had real monsters to face. Whispers turned to shouts, fear thickening the air. The death toll had risen to 15. Elders in dark robes embroidered with runes tried to shout over the uproar, their voices lost in the din, until Chief Elder Linda struck her staff against the dais. The heavy thud cut through the noise, and silence fell. This is not the doing of the wolves straying too near, we should fear. She paused, gathering her thoughts as she read the crowd. These souls were not simply taken, she said, her staff striking the dais. They were claimed, Something unholy walks among us. Murmurs swelled, voices rising until she slammed her staff again. We must bless the dead and chain them into their graves. If their souls are bound by this demon's will, they will rise with hunger. But bound, they will perish a second and final time. A boy shouted, voice cracking. You mean like vampires? The old stories? She nodded grimly. Yes. Once bitten and buried, they awaken to feed. If they cannot escape the grave, they die forever. Lies. Told by a woman desperate to keep her power. Elder, is it not the year you are to step down? A young man stood up, grabbing everyone's attention. So you've been living in denial all these years? Do you not listen to your own grandmother, Paul? The elder's voice was firm and cold. Do we have to do this to all of them? A young boy asked, his face pale, thinking of what he must do at his own home. Eric clutched Tristan's hand, thumb brushing circles against his skin. Together, they stepped forward. How can we help? They asked in unison. Gather the bodies. I will bless the earth. Each body lowered into the ground bore Calvin's face in Eric's mind. His hands shook as he shoveled, earth clinging to his skin like guilt. Every thud of soil sounded like a heartbeat gone wrong. Each shovelful of earth was another weight crushing his chest. The ground shuddered as the words took hold. From beneath the soil came faint groans, the sound of trapped lungs expelling their last air. Ropes creaked as the buried corpses strained against their chains, the earth rising and falling like something alive. As the elders' chants thickened in the air, the earth turned black and hungry, pulling the cursed bodies down with a hiss. And when the dirt settled, the bodies twitched and writhed before the ground consumed them whole. The puncture wounds at their throats, just like the one Calvin bore before Cassian's attack on Eric. Tristan's gaze swept across the rows. Eric, the marks, they're the same as Calvin's. Eric flinched. Don't. You saw it. I saw it, Tristan uttered. His voice broke. So he might be dead, but not dead? Tristan stared at the soil, jaw tight. If he comes back, it won't be as our Calvin. Eric's eyes shimmered. But what if there's something left? Something we can save? Tristan's tone hardened. If he comes back, it'll be as a bloodsucker. Lover or not, we'll be nothing but walking veins to him. Eric tried to smile through tears. So what? He'll still love sucking, but just have a bigger issue with teeth. He wiggled his brows. Tristan gave him a flat look. God help me. Oh, come now. You were thinking the same thing. Eric glared at Tristan. The elder walked up to the men who were speaking in hushed tones, clearing her throat. Gentlemen, a moment of your time. Yes, Elder Jane. Tristan bowed his head. Where is Calvin? The elder's voice wasn't accusing, but there was an unmistakable edge of doubt threading through each word. I strongly suggest staying in and avoid additional company. They looked at each other before Eric let out a deep sigh. Elder, it's my fault. I started a fight with him last night. What? You three have been together for several years. As you know, the village knows your unique relationship. Why would you be fighting? Because Romeo here felt unloved because I have a ring that has our birthstones. Calvin has one, but Eric here does not have one yet. Tristan's words came out thick and heavy. We went, he went looking for something precious, but he never came home. We were going to go look for him, but my family in the village was attacked. Eric allowed his voice to trail off. I see. Let us pray what attacked your folks didn't get to Calvin. The other elders and I have spoken, and we have noticed the once quiet werewolves that live around here have increased their movements and numbers. It only takes but a bite or scratch, and they can be turned. The elder looked over at Eric with curiosity. Um, Elder Jane, if you're looking at Eric, might I just let you know that Tristan bit into his lip, looking at Eric. Say no more. You three have always been, shall we say, very spirited when together. Well, I will take my leave, but I strongly suggest that you secure your home and please try to find Calvin. With that, the elder walked away. Well, shall we say, spirited, Patrick.
The suck a different way joke, that was fantastic.
The two lovers moved with quiet urgency, securing their home, not in hope of needing its defenses, but prepared should the night demand it. Night fell. Screams carried over the rooftops as terror gripped the village. Then 3 heavy knocks at their door. Elder Linda stood in the threshold, robes heavy with ash and incense, her slight movement causing the charms to dance in the firelight. Where is Calvin? He was not at the rites today, nor has anyone seen him since last night. Tristan's voice was steady. He left last night after a quarrel. We hoped he'd be back by now. Her gaze sharpened. We found a grave near Rosenborg. The stone over it was not split, it was shattered. Blood smeared across it, strips of flesh, fingernails embedded in the shards, gouges deep enough to snap fingernails clean off. It was not a graceful rising. It was a screaming birth. Whatever rose from that grave fought its way through death. Eric's blood drained from his face. What? Linda reached into her robes, pulling out a ring. You three have been together for several years. The village gave up trying to sort who belonged to whom long ago. This was found on a dying villager. His last word was Calvin. She placed it on the table and left in silence. Eric turned the ring over in his palm, whispering a prayer he didn't believe in, when a voice drawled behind him. Tristan picked up the ring. It's his, the bond ring. Eric's hands trembled. He didn't claw out. He burst through. See, he fought to live. We need to find him before they do. Tristan's voice broke into a roar. Did you hear her? That thing is not our Calvin. He caught Eric by the shoulders, his eyes burning with grief, mirroring the same pain in Eric's own. Eric's voice cracked. Our sweet Calvin. He placed a shaking hand over his mouth, holding back a mournful cry. The house fell silent but for the fire's low hiss. Then the flames dipped, not out, but inward, as if the fire itself recoiled from something unseen. A faint tap came from the door, then another, slow, rhythmic, like knuckles learning to knock again after forgetting how. At first, the sound was barely there, a whisper in the darkness, until it grew into a slow, relentless rhythm, echoing like a heartbeat. A voice cut through the room. Your sweet Calvin is what? Home late? They turned. Calvin stood in the doorway, grinning wide. Fangs gleamed, but too many of them, not just canines. As he grinned, his gums split slightly, healing as he spoke. Tristan staggered back, his heel catching the leg of a chair as he nearly sent the candle on the dining table tumbling. Calvin chuckled. Sorry, babe. They've got a mind of their own. You don't believe I would ever harm you? No, I don't believe you could. It's just a shock, Tristan mumbled. Calvin sniffed the air. Ugh. Since when did we get a dog? Eric blinked. Dog? Tristan barked a laugh. You don't smell anything? Eric flushed. No. Lifting his arms, he took a deep breath, but noticed nothing. Calvin wrinkled his nose. Smells like wet dog. You two didn't replace me with a mutt while I was gone, did you? Gone not but a day, and you bring a dog into my home. Eric went pale. Wait, I didn't invite him in. Did you? Tristan groaned. Idiot, we live in his house. He doesn't need an invitation. His voice darkened. That smell isn't a dog. Eric was scratched by a wolf, Cassian. Calvin nodded slowly. Well then, a vampire, a witch, and a werewolf. What a family. Eric scowled. Hey, bloodsucker, you're no prize yourself. Tristan's jaw tightened as he stepped between Eric and Calvin. You think this is funny? The elder found your ring on a dying man. So what now? Are you feeding on the villagers? Calvin's grin faltered. His voice was low, almost ashamed. I tried not to. Gods, I tried. But the hunger. He pressed a hand to his stomach, eyes flashing crimson in the firelight. It's like drowning from the inside out. I only took enough to stop the burn. Eric's voice trembled. Only enough? Calvin nodded. The man lived. For a moment. Then someone else came. His gaze darted toward the window, haunted. Something stronger. I felt it watching. It plucked him up like a toy, and I ran. I swear I ran. He grabbed at me as I fled, ripped the ring from my hand. Tristan's expression hardened. Then you didn't kill him. Calvin looked away. No, but I didn't save him either. A long silence followed, broken only by the crackle of the fire and the slow, deliberate sound of Calvin's breath, too measured to be human. Boys, Tristan cut in, holding out the ring. This belongs to you. Calvin slid it onto his finger. A flood of memories crashed over him. His hand went to his coat, pulling out a second ring, its stones glimmering. Eric, I found the gem to finish yours. Please, tell me it's not too late. Eric opened his arms. Only if you can love a man who smells like wet dog. Calvin embraced him, breathing him in. Although, you don't smell half as good as you did before, I still think I could sink my teeth into something. Tristan sighed. I think I'm the one with the raw deal. A witch babysitting a baby vampire in a wolf pub. I couldn't think of a better buffer than you, Calvin whispered against his ear, nipping him lightly, drawing a bead of blood and licking it away. Tristan shuddered. From this lifetime to the next. Calvin's arms tightened around them both. For a heartbeat, it almost felt like before. Warmth, laughter, life. Then the firelight caught on his teeth and the illusion shattered. Outside, somewhere in the woods, something else laughed back. Older, powerful, and hungry. End scene.
On that version, I did some edits, and there's a lot more to it. But in order to get it, you'll have to pick it up when it's available.
I am loving the return to archetypical werewolves and vampires, because we see a lot of modern day takes of vampires where like we change up the rules and we play with the ways they change, how they're created, the rules they describe by. The fact that you're going back to pinning them in their graves, having to be invited back into the house, um, that they need to be buried in the dirt in order to change back. Oh, it's making me so happy. The fact that the werewolves can pass the curse on by scratches as well as bites. I'm loving it. It's great.
So this completes what I have submitted for Sinful Signings for my Synology submission. And I am debating if I am wanting to write more of this story, but it's like I think I should just leave it just as is.
Cute little short story. Yeah.
I agree. Keep it a cute little short story. Um, there were some cute, funny lines in there.
Yeah.
I loved it. The spicy one about like biting another way, and then the vamp, the witch, the werewolf. What a family!
Yeah.
Those those were like the best ones.
What you're gonna say is, I know you want to say something.
Wet dog.
It smells so bad. It smells so bad.
Yep.
Also, the maid's body. Gross, dude. Gross. I almost.
Retched in your mouth? Yeah. I could tell.
Part of the thing for Sinful Signings is they wanted something dark
Gore. Dark?
and
Yeah.
Oh,
gory.
it's dark right up until the guys just went right back to thinking with their.
With their dicks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tristan did a really quick 180 though. Like he's not gonna come back as our Calvin, blah 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 blah, and just seeing him in front of him, going, "Sorry, babe," like suddenly Tristan's like, "Hey, honey, you're home." Like,
So the way I did Tristan, and I did Tristan that way for a reason, is because in a lot of dynamics and in relationships, you have that person, you're mad as hell when that person's not there, but the moment you see them, all your anger just kind of just goes away because you've seen someone that you've missed because you haven't seen them and you're afraid that you're never going to see them again. So all the anger, all the animosity, all that, they're not going to be the same. They're not who they are. It's just kind of like forgotten because they're standing right there. They look the same. They got more teeth, but they're still them.
And that's why Tristan would die first in a horror movie.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right, be right back.
Oh, great. And I've got a second line going through my iPad. Fuck.
What's going?
There's
Oh,
like on all the color. It doesn't show up on the black parts of the screen, but anywhere there's color, there's a faint blue line cutting through just like the last centimeter on the left side of my iPad. And now there's a second one. I mean, it's 8 years old, so I shouldn't be surprised. I'm like, fuck.
oh my goodness. That's always frustrating when something
Yeah.
starts happening to the screens on your devices.
And it's like my main source of income for my art, so that's just like. Let's see. I know I can't afford it, but what's the going price for iPads now? iPad Pro 9-inch. Because this one was 900. What are they now?
I think it depends on which generation. Like if you get like the previous generation, it might be a little bit cheaper.
Mm.
Might not be as up to date as whatever the latest is, but I've got a ninth gen and it's doing really good for me. I've had it about 2 or 3 years now.
I have no idea what this one is. It's Apparently, the most recent models have like an M5 chip, and mine has M2, so it's definitely behind.
Oh, but it was working for you. So
It still does. It works perfectly fine. It does everything I need it to do. It's just it's starting to show its age, and I'm like, don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Is there a possibility of maybe just getting the screen repaired?
That would be cheaper than getting a new one.
Yeah.
Although I don't really know why the screen's acting up.
Yeah.
Compare models. Here we go. Really? The latest Pro only comes in 11 or 13? I don't need it that big.
I don't know what to tell you. I've got the 10 whatever, and it's going on 3 years now.
Yeah, mine's creeping up on a decade.
Yeah. All right. Next up.
$1,400. Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. Where did it? What the heck is going on? Here we go. That's what it is. Man, on the stream, it looks so. Ah, there we go. Now we're back.
Oh, a quarter of the space this one currently has.
Is that cake?
That is cake.
Lucky.
Well, if I get the 1 terabyte, which is what this one has.
I'm having my cake and eating it too because up next we have Julie, the Fisher. And she's expecting me to throw the microphone.
Oh boy. And she's not even here right now.
Technically, the quote is eat your cake and have it too, but we get your point.
What do you mean she's not here right now?
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, she's
I'm
there.
right here.
She never went anywhere.
It's the purple thing with her thing. So we're just gonna go with it. I'm gonna just look at this screen.
There we go. All right. Times like these. 2:33 a.m. Garage. Riot sat on the edge of the workbench, legs swinging, staring at the cooling engine she'd been tuning since midnight. The clock over the tool wall mocking her with ticks loud enough to make her twitch. Its existence reminded her of the midnight oils she burned by the gallons. Her night should have ended after setting the meeting with Cassian. She should have been able to shower, finish her forgotten lo mein, and relax. Her brain wouldn't shut off. She tried forcing the issue by stretching across the bed, praying sleep would take her the same way it had at the cabin, but the dreams had been too intense. Waking to the smell of blood, smoke, and burning steel haunted her senses. Memories that she had kept shoved down for years now decided to rear their ugly heads like a thief robbing her of sanity and sleep. Every hum in the building pressed against her like static, crawling over her nerves until she fled her bed and sought refuge in the shop. Sleep wasn't happening, not tonight, and maybe not for the next few days if this pattern continued, which is how she found herself now, grease slicked, hair damp with the phantom pulse of Cassian's presence humming under her skin. Nothing sated her heightened state. Not the hot shower, not tearing apart the engine, not even the pleasure of hearing the big block fire brought her the peace it should have. The adrenaline fed the anxiety that had no intention of burning itself out of her veins, and she stupidly thought it would. Fuck this shit! Riot shoved to her feet, grabbed her leather jacket off the back of a chair, and stomped across the bays to where Reckoner sat waiting, like a battle buddy ready to head off into war. She knew if she stayed there any longer, she'd tear apart another engine that didn't need or deserve it. She could have called Torch or Vega. Neither would have questioned the time or her need to have them close. She could have hunted a street race and burned the tension from her blood. But this wasn't an itch she could scratch by adding more noise. Riot walked over to the overhead door, pulling it up just enough to fit her and the bike out. Her mind raced with where to go from here. The pit would be too loud, too full of questioning eyes, and the cabin too damn quiet. With the garage already feeling like more cell than sanctuary, Riot needed that perfect line between nowhere and goodbye. Somewhere speed was the only thing that mattered. Riot fired up Reckoner and felt the raw power ready to carry her away. Pointing her wheels into the deepest, darkest part of night, Riot let out the clutch. 3:08 a.m., Highway 19. The air cut sharp against her cheeks, cool and clean. It was the first time in years she hadn't worn a full-faced helmet. Riot had almost forgotten what the wind felt like. The clear, inky black sky made the stars look so bright, sharp, and close enough to pluck. Reckoner roared between her thighs, tires kissing the pavement in rhythm with her pulse. She wasn't chasing a destination, just distance from everything that had her mind screaming. The farther she went, the harder she laid on the throttle, the easier it was to breathe. Riot passed the turnoff for the cabin without slowing. She wasn't ready to relinquish the feeling of the freedom she felt. Riding until the highway curved toward the ridge, her old stomping grounds beckoned to her like a lover missing his mate. This was where Tank used to meet her for sunrise rides, where he had kissed her for the first time, where she had come to hopefully join him, but Vega had stopped her. The ache hit then, that familiar ghost behind her ribs. She throttled down, letting Reckoner idle at the shoulder until she spotted a flickering neon sign up ahead. Kelly's Gas and Go. Still standing. Half dead, but standing. Riot pulled in under the canopy, the light buzzing overhead. She killed the engine, dismounted, and stretched out her stiff shoulders. She scanned the deserted parking lot, taking off her helmet, and breathed the first steady breath she had in months. She didn't know if it was the night air or the familiar place, but something in her body started to relax. Walking inside the old station, the bell above the door gave a half-hearted jingle. The place looked the same. Dusty windows, humming fridge, bored night clerk hunched behind the counter. The kid at the register looked up from his phone, mumbled something close to hey, and went back to scrolling. Riot made her way to the cooler at the back, the soles of her boots echoing in the quiet. She popped open the door, grabbed a cold coffee, and was halfway to the counter when she froze. A low, throaty growl rolled across the lot. Her stomach twisted before her brain caught up. That wasn't any Harley. It was his Harley. Her hand froze around the glass bottle. For a second, she thought she was imagining it. What were the odds he would show up at Kelly's at the same time she did? Then came the sweep of light through the window and the shadow that followed. Tall, broad, familiar swagger, even through the glass. Her stomach dropped. Not him. Not tonight. The door opened, the bell ringing softer this time. Riot didn't turn. She didn't need to. The scent of leather, smoke, and something dark she'd never forgotten hit before his voice did. Still running these roads alone, darling? Thought you'd have learned better by now. She clenched her jaw, eyes locking on his reflection in the plexiglass at the counter. Could say the same about you, she muttered. Grayson Wolfe leaned against the counter, his cuts patches catching the light. Chrome Saints. President. His patch looked newer, brighter, like he'd replaced it since the last time she saw him 5 years ago. He smiled, that same easy, poisonous grin. You still ride like the devil's chasing you, I see. Heard Reckoner's been tearing up the circuit. Guess I shouldn't be surprised it was you under that helmet. She turned, bottle still in hand. You shouldn't be anything, Grayson, especially here. And you are aware stalking is illegal in all 50 states, right? Relax. He lifted both hands, mock surrender. Ain't here to blow your cover or start a war. Just talk. Then talk fast. He glanced toward the counter where the clerk had abandoned his phone and now was pretending to stock candy bars. His gaze flicked between them every few seconds. Grayson stared until the kid froze. Outside. His voice dropped to a whisper close to her ear. You and I both know better than to bleed history in public. Riot's knuckles whitened. She didn't like that he was right, but also wouldn't give him the satisfaction of knowing it either. She set the coffee on the counter, threw a few bills down, and pushed past him, making sure to land her shoulder. The night was cold enough to sting. Gravel crunched under her boots as she stepped toward Reckoner. Grayson followed, the door swinging shut behind them with a dull metallic thud. Nice ride, he said, circling her bike like a wolf. You finally swapped out that cracked fairing. You know, Tank used to bitch about you running it hot. She stilled. The name landed like a blade between her shoulder blades. Don't, Wolf. What? Talk about him? Man was my brother, too. He feigned hurt. She spun on him. No, he wasn't. Tank was mine. And you don't get to say anything about him. Not unless you're ready to lose that tongue. Grayson's smirk faded for a breath. Then he shrugged. You always did have a mean streak, Sabrina. Guess it's the only thing that kept you breathing. It's Riot, Wolf. Don't you fucking forget it. Spite's what keeps me breathing. Hatred keeps me moving. He chuckled low. You say that like you didn't come crawling to me after Tank died. Oh no, the fuck he did not! Chocolate. I need chocolate. I need...
I have a feeling this is what Julie was talking about, that people were going to be throwing things at her. Uh-huh.
Oh, the fuck
Yeah.
the fuck.
And she roped me in on it too.
Oh, she did.
Izzy, you're making me want cake. I have no way to have cake.
I
This is
have noticed that she's putting timestamps on it like Izzy does.
Just for this one, and just for Blood Trilogy.
Yeah, okay.
It's because everything is so, like, fast-paced. This happens, and this happens, and this happens, and you gotta know where you are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck he didn't. We... The fuck, the fuck he didn't. The fuck. fuck he didn't. The fucking fuck he did. And sorry, Shar. The fuck he did. This boy's gonna get his ass handed to him. Okay. Her hand twitched toward her helmet, calculating how quick she could pull the gun or unsheath her knife. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Don't I? He stepped closer, shadows carving his face. I was there, remember? Picked up what was left after your boy and his bike went up in smoke. You think I don't know how it happened? How I made you fall into my arms? Her breath caught. Funny, I don't remember you being there when I pulled him out. So, you've been living in denial all these years. His voice was soft and deliberate. You never learned to ask the right questions. Maybe because I didn't think I had to. Well, he said, leaning close enough that she could feel the heat of his breath. Maybe you should have. Riot's pulse thundered in her throat. You trying to tell me something? Or just playing your old games? He smiled again, tighter, colder. Maybe both. The silence stretched. Somewhere inside, the radio crackled through the glass, the clerk pretending not to exist but enjoying the show. Grayson stepped back, reaching into his jacket. Riot tensed, hand finding the knife she kept strapped to her thigh, but instead of a weapon, he pulled out a photo. Creased, faded at the corners, and flicked it at her, hitting her chest and fluttered to the ground. Thought you might want a reminder. Some ghosts don't stay buried, Riot. He swung a leg over his Harley, engine snarling to life. See you around, darling. Tell King I said hi, and tell him I'm ready to finish what we started. What the hell's that supposed to mean? That's what I'm saying, too. Try not to get yourself killed before I do. No one wants twice damaged goods. He peeled out, gravel spitting from his back tire, taillight fading into the dark. Riot hurled the glass bottle at his bike, knowing it wouldn't hit him. Her anger finally gave her permission to react instead of absorb. Riot didn't move for a long minute, just stared at the empty lot, jaw tight, hands shaking. Then she bent down and picked up the photo. Her, Tank, and Vega, all smiles, grease smeared. Middle fingers up at whoever took it. The edges were singed like it had been fired once before, and on the back was his handwriting. Tell Vega I said hi if he's still dumb enough to answer your calls. Son of a bitch, she whispered. You really don't know when to quit, do you? She slid it into her jacket pocket, mounted Reckoner, and fired up the engine. Through the window, she caught the clerk staring wide-eyed, pretending to wipe the counter. He'd heard every damn word. Riot revved the throttle once, hard enough to make the glass rattle, then tore out of the lot. She didn't head toward the cabin. The road forked ahead, and she took the one that led deeper into the dark, back toward the old tracks, the forgotten rail yard. She needed time to get her head straight before she burned the whole damn world to the ground. Riot reached up, tapped her earpiece, screaming, "Pony boy!" into the mic, and watched her pocket light up. She waited only a heartbeat before it connected. Riot, what's wrong, darling? Her voice came out choked. Cabin. Now. A pause, then the click of him acknowledging. The night swallowed the line, leaving only the hum of the engine and the cold edge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. We're not done yet. I just I must absorb. 3:42 a.m. Vega's apartment. The phone went dead, but Riot's voice still rang in his head. Cabin, now. That wasn't her usual handle it tone. That was the voice she used when the world was about to go up in flames. Vega blinked at the screen a second longer before sliding it into his pocket. So it begins, he muttered, reaching for his cut still hanging on the same chair as it had for the last 5 years. Leather still creased from too many years and too many miles. As he slung it across his shoulders, his gaze caught the photo pinned to the fridge. Three riders, grins wide, middle fingers up, the edges burned from some forgotten fire. A ghost now lingered in the space where someone should have been. He leaned back against the chipped counter for a moment, eyes drifting between the photo and a half empty bottle of Jameson, like one of them might give him answers. 5 minutes passed, her voice still echoing in his head, that same mix of fire and defiance Tank used to love about her. He scrubbed a hand over his face and sighed, pouring himself one more shot. The ember burn cut sharp down his throat. She doesn't even know, he whispered, almost laughing at the absurdity. And even if she did, he let the thought die there. God damn it, Bean. Voice rough around the edges. You never could just stay where it was safe, could you? And now you've gone and stepped off into something you can't handle. His phone buzzed. Torch. She probably got the same SOS as me. He ignored it. The writing was already on the wall, if anyone took the time to read it. Grabbing his keys, Vega hesitated at the door, eyes flicking back to the photo. I tried to keep you out of this, girl, he said under his breath, but ghosts don't stay buried. He killed the lights and stepped out into the night. The wind caught on the leaves, whistling through the boards like a warning. It pulled at his jacket, tugged at the edges of his resolve, reminding him of that night, the one where Tank made him promise, look after her, don't let her fall. He'd tried. Hell, he was still trying. But Riot wasn't the kind of woman you protected. She was the kind you followed straight into the eye of the storm if you had to. Tank thought it was loyalty, brotherhood, that unbreakable bond you bleed for in life. He never saw what Vega saw. He never saw what she could have been. Always the bridesmaid, he muttered with a crooked grin that didn't reach his eyes. Ain't that right, Tank? The silence didn't answer, and that was almost worse than words, as he fired up the old ragtop and headed into the dark. End scene. I'm sorry, ma'am, excuse me, what?
What?
You made Daisy throw her iPad.
I wanted her to throw the mic, not the iPad. I mean, iPads are expensive.
What iPad? I threw the mic.
Oh, you threw the mic. I thought it was the iPad. Sorry.
No, iPad's over here. I'm not even using the iPad tonight. Now, okay. Okay. So here's the thing, right? Julie and I have sat up many late nights, well after we should have gone to bed, like responsible adults. And I know stuff that you don't know. And just the shit that oh fuck no, he didn't.
But he did.
But he did.
I tried to tell you he was worse than Xander.
This is why she pulled me down into 3 the other day. She's like, you can't have no part of this. I'm like, okay. And then she laid that on me. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is gonna be bad.
As if there weren't already enough layers in this thing. Okay. Here's the thing. She's pulling an Izzy on this one. And when we get to mine, you'll see what I mean. Girl. Woman. Because now it's my job to make sure that you wrap up all your plot holes before this thing gets published.
Yeah, unfortunately, your challenge for this month for Plotoween was to develop the B story. I didn't really have a B story.
Yes, the fuck you did. Here's the thing. It's the exact thing that you're developing now.
Right. But I had an intention to hit on it and then keep running. I had no intention of actually writing it. And now I'm writing it. And
It has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, it does. Now, it's okay because I'll get my payback later. Next up, the lovely. Oh shitballs! Hold, please hold. I must add another layer. Oh, come on, quit flipping around. I hate this fucking mouse.
I think we may have lost Shar.
yeah, well, she was having issues with the generator.
Yeah, with the generator earlier. So I figured that's where she went. Because she was there, she was looking at something off the screen, and then bloop.
Yep.
Okay, I need to click there, and then I need to click there.
And see, that's the whole thing. Izzy halfway read me the riot act here. And then as soon as we jump over to Discord, she'll read me the rest of the riot act over there.
Okay, our lovely friend in the comments, what did you say that your pen name for this was? Poison Girl? What's your pen name on this so I can put it properly on the screen?
She even spelled it wrong.
If I were to look, it's up at the top.
Best place to hide something is right in plain sight.
Right.
There we go. Yes, Shay Carner. I didn't want to put the wrong one. Okay, so click. Perfect. It worked properly the way it's supposed to. And transition. There we go. I have been told that this is going to get me. Which does not surprise me in the least. She'd never liked surprises, but this one was different. As Danny stepped out the front door to sip her morning coffee on the porch, she found a decorative cardboard box wrapped up with a bow, neatly tucked into the corner. Whoever had delivered it took care to ensure the parcel would not get stepped on. There was no name on it, and no return address. This was a hand-delivered gift. Danny set her coffee on the patio table and picked up the package, taking it to her favorite chair. Hummingbirds flitted through the air, sipping from the feeder, then darting away as quickly as they'd appeared. The patio was more like a garden, lush with potted flowering citrus trees, large leafy plants, and various wind chimes. Are you going to open up? Are you going to open the box? Quinn's voice startled Danny, and she looked up to see her best friend sitting in the chair across from her. Holy shit! You scared me. How did I not see you sitting there? Danny asked. No idea. When's the last time you had your prescription checked? Quinn teased, gesturing to Danny's glasses. The cushion on the old patio chair molded to Danny's ass as she flopped into it, drawing her legs up in a crisscross position. She held the package on her lap and pulled the ends of the red bow until the knot popped loose. The lid came off easily, and Danny found the box full of old photographs. Oh, wow, Danny said as she lifted the first photo from the box. I forgot about this. Quinn and Dandy. Quinn and Danny were around 9 in this picture, and they were sitting on a large quilt spread across the yard surrounded by Barbie dolls, clothes, shoes, and other accessories. They leaned their heads together and turned their big, cheesy smiles toward the camera. How long has it been since then? 25 or 30 years? Quinn asked. I don't want to think about that. It's probably closer to 30, Danny replied. The next photo had been taken around the same time, and the next one was only slightly older than the last. Danny's mind wandered back in time with each image, and the reminiscence brought a smile to her face. They'd spent so much time together and had documented so much of it through disposable cameras, Polaroids, and even a few home videos that she was sure her mother still had, tucked away somewhere in the garage of her childhood home. No. Tell me you didn't include a picture of Derek Levin. Danny gasped as she held up the photo of her and her date to the 8th grade semi formal dance. You know we broke up that night, right? I remember, and it was for the best. That guy was an asshole, and you were better without him. But you can't deny that you were adorable in that dress. True, Danny shrugged, pulling out the next picture. The stack on the patio table continued to grow as they traveled further down memory lane. Our first day of high school, Danny cooed, turning the picture around for her friend to see it. What were we wearing? Quinn laughed. Well, I don't know what you were wearing, but I was wearing the highest fashion of the 90s. It's a flannel over a fitted white t shirt, baggy jeans, and a ratty old messenger bag. Not Versace, Quinn corrected. Yeah, 90s grunge. It was a whole thing. I recall, Quinn rolled her eyes. Where did you get all these pictures? Danny asked. She wasn't even halfway through the box yet. Here and there, she replied, gazing out across the patio plants. The sky grew dark, and a cool breeze sent the photos flying off the table and into the yard. Danny scrambled to pick them up as the first few drops of rain hit the ground. Quinn was still sitting in the same spot when she returned to the porch. You want some coffee? Sorry, it was rude of me not to offer it sooner. Let's go inside before it starts pouring, Danny said, leading the way through the front door and holding it open for Quinn. The place looks different from the last time I was here, she said. Yeah, I rearranged again. It gets so boring if you don't change things up once in a while. Don't I know it? How many times do I frickin' rearrange this room? Whew! Danny placed the box of photos and the stack she'd already looked at on the kitchen table while she filled Quinn's favorite mug with water for the Keurig. It took less than a minute to have a full cup of hot coffee, and Danny poured in enough French vanilla creamer to turn the brew a light caramel color. Here you go, just the way you like it, she said as she passed the mug to her friend. Quinn placed her hands around the cup, relishing the warmth it provided. Danny pulled out the chair next to her and sat down, sliding the photos close again. She took another picture from the box and froze. It was her ex boyfriend, Jason. The room went cold, and she was afraid to go any further. Something wasn't right. Keep going. Look at the next one, Quinn urged. I don't want to. Why are you doing this? Danny asked. You know why. Tears welled in Danny's eyes. She couldn't help herself. As much as she didn't want to see any more, it was almost like she wasn't in control. The next image was of the three of them together, junior prom. Quinn and Danny wore matching royal blue dresses, and Jason stood between them in his black tux with royal blue vest and matching pocket square. Danny's blood boiled. Did you really come here after all this time just to drag up the most painful memories of our past? I got over it. I moved on. That's what people do when they grow up. They move on. Why haven't you? You still don't get it. Keep looking at the pictures, she instructed. Jason and Danny sharing a milkshake at Scoops. Danny and Quinn at the beach. Quinn and Jason horseback riding. Quinn and Jason making pottery together. Quinn and Jason, more of the two of them, less of either of them with Danny. That's enough. You can leave now and take your pictures with you. No, keep going. You're almost there, she said, nodding toward the box. I can feel my heartbeat in my ears. Shay. Danny reached inside and pulled out a piece of old newspaper. It was a picture of Quinn and Jason in the engagement section of the local Gazette. The tears that had threatened to spill from her eyes earlier now streamed her face. Why won't you just leave me alone? Danny screamed. You know why. Keep looking. The next piece she pulled out was a flyer with a picture of Quinn. At the top, in bold red lettering, it read missing. Under that, it said 19-year-old female. Danny took out the last piece of paper. The title of the article read, Local Man Charged for the Murder of His 19-year-old Fiancée. You know why I can't leave, Danny. Because you let him go down for what you did. No, but I didn't. So you've been living in denial all these years. Must be exhausting being you. Quinn sneered. Her skin grayed, and she turned to the side, revealing the wounds she'd died from. Two of the holes in her skull perfectly matched the head of the hammer Danny had bludgeoned her with. The memories she tried so hard to bury flooded her mind now, and Quinn rose from the table. Danny stood up and backed away as the hammer materialized in Quinn's hand. Don't come any closer, she screamed. Quinn wailed like a banshee as she rushed forward with the hammer. Danny raised her hands in defense, but it didn't stop the force of the blow. Intense pain, blinding light, then total darkness enveloped her. Shay! You did it again! Oops, I did it again.
If we're going to go to the 90s.
Right? Holy shit.
That was,
I'm
I don't
okay.
even,
I'm okay. I promise, Shay. I am okay. Okay. I'm okay. But this is the shit that I absolutely loved about My Fair Verona. Not sponsored, but absolutely love My Fair Verona by Shay Carner. Just saying. Just saying. Um I did not see that coming.
yeah, that came out of nowhere.
But yet it didn't.
I know.
Like,
It's like you
this is
like there's certain things like from the beginning that are context clues. And the other night when Shay brought us all down and she read it to us, uh I I knew something was off from the moment the box appeared on the front steps. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see where this goes. I'm going to see. And all of a sudden I'm watching and I'm watching and I'm watching. And I'm like, what the? And all of a sudden missing. And I'm sitting there like, he didn't. And then the ending. And I'm like, she did.
She didn't.
He didn't. She
Very,
did.
very nice.
Yeah,
Very
exactly,
nice.
Trisha. It was very intense.
In the way only Shay can give us.
That's facts. Legit. Oh. And by the way, that was I don't remember if Shay submitted last year early when we were still on TikTok, but it's been a very, very hot minute. And love, love, love. Love, love, love. Thrillers is so you're calling, my darling. So, so, so. So, so, so. Yes. Absolutely. It oh. Hey, I need more chocolate cake.
Can we take a short break?
Absolutely. Take a bathroom break. Take the because next step is cash. So you may want to make sure that you empty your bladder. I don't think you should need tissues with caches, but you know.
I mean, I was bawling, so
Oh,
you
you
might.
might want to. You might want to. It's not often she makes herself cry. So go get tissues. Drink. Bathroom break. And cake break. Yes. A couple of days ago, Will got it in his head to make a 2-layer cake, and he got real fancy with the edging and everything, and it looked absolutely beautiful and stunning. And on the top, he wrote "Blessed Samhain." So, past couple of days, we've been eating chocolate cakes, celebrating October 31st ahead of time because that weekend is very, 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 very freaking busy. So we're celebrating all month. Thus, Plutoween. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Also, this is the hydrate or dihydrate. Get up, move around, do the hokey pokey, if that's your thing. We've had some very good submissions so far tonight. PA, would you care to chime in here? Chicken.
Oh, I hear my timer. I'll be right back.
Take that, depression!
There better
Sorry.
be an actual freaking timer.
Flip, flop, flop.
Uh,
We've had some really good submissions this week.
we did.
I'm glad I didn't get a lot of angry people about my submission. I was thinking
Yeah,
I was going to have
no.
a lot more.
I am still. I'm with Lindsay on that though. I think Uh, what if Trisha? Would it? Because we love you, but you have a uncanny ability to
Jump.
rip our hearts out with less than 300 words.
That she does.
So, I mean, oh yeah, Patrick and the subtle dirty jokes, absolutely.
I could have made him a lot worse.
I know you could have, and they wouldn't have been so subtle.
Mm-mm. I mean, for crying out loud. I talk about a delightful peach in the previous chapter.
Right,
And I was hinting towards sinking his teeth into that in this chapter.
right. So, I mean, things have definitely progressed. Um,
I'm sorry. No, I disagree.
what?
Patrick's jokes are about as subtle as a pride flag hanging outside of a house.
I mean, you're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Do they need to be hidden on the Kindle and not the front cover shown while you're on the subway? No. They're definitely a pride flag in front of the house.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
It has something to do with Old English.
What?
To answer Leon's question, he asked, how is subtle pronounced subtle when it has a B in it? So the word is subtle, subtle, and yet it is pronounced subtle.
Yeah, I know. Me and Google argue about it all the time, but I still trust Google when it comes to the spelling of words because I can't spell. We all know this.
I've
It's
always
getting
pronounced
better.
the B.
Oh,
Subtle.
no, I take that back. I take that back. Leon is right. It is Old French. But it does go all the way back to Latin, which is subtilis or subtilis. So there we go. Learned something new.
We did. We did. We did.
All right.
Yes, we learned that Izzy could actually be wrong. Izzy's never wrong.
Izzy is wrong. And I will be the first one to admit when I'm wrong.
Izzy's also the Google queen.
I'm also the Google queen. All right. Next up, one Kesh Butler. The first thing Suki felt was the bone-chilling cold. Her fingers were numb, and nothing she did helped her to stop feeling the way she was. Her mind felt like a hazy mess, making it hard for her to focus on anything in the immediate area. She closed her eyes, inhaled a few times, and reopened them. Suki looked around, at first thinking she was coming to in the forest clearing, but instead found herself in a library. She turned and looked at some of the books on the shelves next to where she was sitting. Many seemed to be written in scripts she didn't recognize. Looking around, she noted that her wolfman wasn't there. She continued glancing around, trying to figure out what she could see. Books, shelves, and shelves of books as far as the eye could see. She felt it was every book ever brought into existence, and then some. She braced herself against the closest of the shelves, using it to help herself get to her feet. She then started to walk down one of the many rows that ran between each of the series of cabinets, pausing and looking up and down each aisle as she did. Suki froze. Down 3 shelving units, a woman stood, tall and thin, wearing a long forest green dress with a high collar and black and gold embroidery along many of the hems. Her hands, which held an open book, were concealed under silky black gloves. The black hair on her head tightly bound in a bun that made Suki's head hurt looking at it. The woman's eyes moved, side-eyeing Suki. Her hand flexed, the book closing as she placed it in an open spot in front of her face. She turned, elegantly walking toward where Suki stood. Her face was narrow, with softened angles on her cheeks and jaw. Perched on her nose were tiny silver-rimmed glasses, her gray eyes peering out and inspecting her as she came closer. Flashing a pearly white smile, she stopped. Suki looked up, making an inspection of her own, noting that her smile was vaguely familiar. I've been waiting for you, Zokara. Her voice had a very soothing cadence reminiscent of something in the back of her mind. Hi? Suki replied. Why are you calling me that? She continued to watch the bespectacled woman who began to slowly circle around her. What? Zokara? She stopped, reaching out and taking Suki's hand into hers. Yeah, my name is The woman placed a gloved finger up to Suki's mouth. There is no need for that. I know who you are. You are the one my son's father chose for our young prince. She smiled warmly as she pulled her hand away, giving her a motherly look, like Lucy's mom had several times when she had first started fostering her. Your son? It was then that Suki realized what the woman was reminding her of. She reminded her in many ways of Wolfman. Yes, my son, the new king, your king. The woman raised a hand, taking a lock of fiery red hair between her fingers so she could examine it. King? Suki was confused, but that was short lived. Distracted by the almost imperceptible points that topped Laria's ears, she forgot about the king. Who are you? She leaned to the side to try and get a better look at the woman's ears. I am Laria, the last queen of the Verdant Empire. Technically, you're a predecessor, but the combined kingdom under you and my son will be a new beast. She took Suki's hand into hers, the soft touch of the silk from her gloves feeling nice on her chilled skin. Elves? But elves aren't real. Emphasizing the final word made the woman chuckle. Haha, but they are, Suki. A voice interjected, somehow in Suki's head, but coming from all directions at once. Humans have been living in denial of the existence of many things for thousands of years. The second voice seemed like a barely audible whisper in her ear, neither there but existing at the same time. Oh, well, them showing up is unexpected. The Lord of Souls very rarely appears to those still among the living, even here. Lariah swept one of her hands out, motioning to the library surrounding them. Where exactly are we? Suki finally broke her silence that was hanging in the air. We are, Lariah paused, cocking her head to the side thoughtfully. Between. The whisper spoke again. Ah, yes, that's it. We are between the veils. She seemed to be satisfied with the answer she gave. Between the veils? What is that supposed to mean? She was now thoroughly confused, and the last queen of the Elven Empire was doing an exceptional job at helping the condition along. Yes, the veils of life and death. We are currently standing in a space that lies between them. She began to move back toward the path between the rows of shelves, motioning for Suki to follow. Are you dead? Wait, am I dead? She followed behind Lariah as best she could, her mind a tumult of thoughts. Oh, I am quite dead. Have been for a while. Good thing for my husband, at least. I was getting very irritated with him before I died. My sons, though, she trailed off, a note of sadness woven within the words. Well, I just regret that I didn't have more time with Wayun. I know he still misses me terribly. Lariah suddenly became forlorn, her head and posture reflecting the sadness. And Pell, my poor Pell, it looked as though she might start crying. Wayun? That name sounds familiar. Suki tried to think where she had heard the name. Wolfman. The words came out of her mouth just above a whisper. Yes, I do believe he wears the mantle of a werewolf that he defeated in combat. A slight smile crept across the queen's face, reminding Suki of Wolfman's smile. So Wolfman is Wayun. She looked at Lariah for confirmation. Yes, she nodded. And Wayun is the king. She again waited for the other woman to confirm the connection she made in her mind. Again, yes. Lariah's head looked to the side down the corridor of shelves toward what sounded like a door opening. I think you might have another visitor. Her eyebrow lifted up in her curiosity. Suki followed her gaze, looking down the path where two figures were coming their way. I come with someone who wanted to speak with the princess. It was the first, louder voice, but this time it wasn't everywhere, but coming from one of the two people. He was very persistent. He stayed to speak with you when the chance arose. Suki got the impression the second voice was a little annoyed. As they walked closer, she was able to make out their features. The person on the left, a petite woman with deep auburn hair, wearing a red blazer, houndstooth trousers, and red kitten heels. Despite her small size, she seemed to fill the entire area with her presence. Next to her stood a bearded man with a fiery red hair much like her own. He was dressed in a linen tunic and trousers, layered under a fur vest. His shoulders held a long, flowing cape with fur over the shoulders. On his head was a headdress made from the head of a badger. What truly made Suki feel like she was dreaming was his eyes. They were red instead of the normal colors that human eyes were. She also found the red scales that lined his hairline to be a little off putting. I recognize him. Wait, I recognize him. Suki wasn't sure what was happening in that moment. Of course you do, Lariah confirmed. Suki could feel her breathing start to become ragged as her heart started to speed up and the blood drained from her face as she remembered where she had seen him. The violence and blood of the nightmare came flooding in from the deep recesses of her mind. Arms caught her as her knees buckled. Oh, my child, let me help you. The woman in the red blazer came up to her, placing a hand on the side of her face. The faces, they are your family. What looked to be a small trail of smoke came down from higher up in the room, circling the both of them as the woman continued speaking. Although I could take this nightmare from your mind, you will need it soon enough, so I will not. What I can do is mute the noise for a short time so that the two of you might speak. Her straight hair swayed gently as the smoke trail flew between the two of them. For a price. The voice trailed off as the smoke flew back up above the shelves toward the darkened ceiling as the pictures floating through her mind became less. Suki looked up at the man who had stayed back where he and the woman had stopped when she had lost her footing. Zokara. It was the same word Wolfman always called her in her dreams. Why does everyone keep calling me that? She looked at Lariah, hoping for an explanation. Don't you know? It's your name. She seemed confused that Suki didn't know. My name? My name is Suki. Suki Daniels. Isn't it? She was unsure all of a sudden as the memory of the boy holding her and escaping the attack and hiding came to the surface. That's my name, right? She looked at the Lord of Souls, who gave her a warm smile, taking a hand in hers. So many go by many names. The names they are born with, the names they choose, and the names they pick up over time from those around them. Doesn't your friend call you Spooky? It's your name as much as Suki is. The strange woman's smile as she spoke seemed to help her relax a little. Each and every name we have holds a value, some positive, some negative, but value nonetheless. Somewhere during the conversation, the stream of smoke had came back down from above and was now lazily floating around the Lord of Souls' head. Right now, your name isn't as important. Time will run short before too long, and your father wishes to speak with you, she said as she looked over to the man who had walked into the library with her. He is your father by blood and love. The other was to be your father by compassion and devotion. My father? Suki looked at the man and then to Lariah, who smiled as she lowered her clasped hands down in front of her hips. She nodded reassuringly as she looked away and toward the man they were claiming was her father. Suki, this is King Duran, monarch of the Vermilion Kingdom, leader of the Oscarai, and while a mighty warrior, he was also a seeker of peace. But most importantly to him, father to you and your elder brother. Once the two of you start speaking to each other, you will understand one another. The Lord of Souls stood behind her, gently placing her hands on her shoulders. Your brother, the prince, is in hiding, the sentinel, your guardian in this life, who still lives. You look so much like your mother. Suki hesitantly walked toward him as he spoke. The sound of his voice woke forgotten memories of faces she had not thought about since she had been small. It was one of the voices that had soothed her when she had been very young, a feeling of warmth spreading through her at the sound of it. My mother? She pulled away from the auburn haired woman and took a cautious step closer to him. Yes, we made the choice that one of us stay with the Lord of Souls. It was a hard choice, but we decided it was best if I were the one to stay behind while she moved on to the next life. He lowered his gaze to the floor and then looked back at her. She feared you would be angry with us, angry for leaving you and your brother alone and unprotected. I said I didn't think you would be, he finished. To Suki, it almost sounded as if he might have feared the same. Why would I be mad? If what I see in my nightmares is true, both of you tried. She wasn't sure she should be mad at anyone except for the person who had attacked her family in the first place. Yes, we did, your brother included. It took the entire palace almost 2 days to find the both of you. Thankfully, it was before my injuries took me, so I could at least say my goodbyes to the both of you. His voice almost sounded as though he was having a hard time keeping his composure. Suki walked up to him and placed her arms around his neck, hugging him. He, in turn, wrapped his arms around her, holding her tight. I think that my greatest regret was that neither of us survived to guide the two of you. Duran's voice cracked as tears fell on Suki's shoulder. She began to shed tears of her own, saddened by the fact that he hadn't had the chance to get to know this person, that she hadn't had the chance to get to know this person. He obviously cared for her very deeply. I've been scared, confused, and felt so alone, but not angry. At least, not at the people who have tried to be my parents. She wiped a tear from her cheeks as she looked at him, seeing features in his face that she saw in her own reflection. Their lordship told me that you are a scholar in the human realm. I have mixed feelings about that, but there have been far too many warriors in our line ruling over our people. Perhaps this is what Etlan needs of our family. Duran took a step back, his eyes meeting hers as he smiled. I am afraid that she will be coming out of her torpor soon, Your Majesty. She will need to return to the place where she was when she came here. The Lord of Souls walked up next to the king, placing her hand in the center of his back. You need to say what you must now, or you will not be able to until her time to pass through the veil comes. Yes, yes, of course. The biggest thing is that I am proud of how you survived everything, and I am proud of your accomplishments. But I also would ask that when you find your brother, if you can remember this encounter at all, please let him know that I am very proud of the man he has become. I think he needs to hear that, he said as the Lord of Souls silently began to lead him away from where they were standing. the smoky flyer trailing around the two of them as they returned the way they had come. The way they had came. We need to go now. I need to lead you back to the Vale of Life so that you will regain consciousness when you have reached your final destination. Lariah motioned back in the direction where they had met, Suki taking one more look over her shoulder to where her father and Lord of Souls had disappeared. Will I remember everything? She asked as they began walking. I'm honestly not sure. I would hope you will eventually remember most of your conversation with your father, if nothing else. I doubt it will be a word for word memory, but it will come out when it is time. She smiled, making Suki feel her warmth again. I hope that I remember you too. You have been so kind and patient. She looked at Lariah, feeling like she might start crying again. If you remember nothing else of me, please remember this. You and Wayun are so young as far as the peoples of Atlan go. The two of you will be the youngest king and queen in Atlani history. It is such a heavy thing being placed on both of your shoulders that I worry that neither of you are prepared for what is to come. You more so. The gray eyes that looked at her were fraught with worry, the look on Lariah's face amplifying the concern she was feeling. Do you want me to try and remember to tell your son anything? She asked, not sure if the other woman would want her to try and give a message to the waiting king or not. To keep it simple for you, just tell them the same as your father wishes you to tell your brother. I am proud of both of them. Lariah's eyes looked like they were becoming watery. They continued talking while they walked back to where Suki had woke up, arriving after a few minutes. I will wait with you until you fade, Suki. I feel it is the least I can do. Also, I am so glad that I got the chance to meet you. I think you will eventually make a good queen once you have found yourself and who you are. Loriah took her hands in hers and held them for a moment, smiling at her one last time before letting go. Suki looked around as the light around them began to dim, the room around them fading. Loriah stepped back a few paces, clasping her hands together in front of herself while Suki watched her fade away into the background. She felt the cold that had originally chilled her to her core return, her body seizing up in response. She saw a hazy light appear. She then sensed someone standing over her while hearing voices she could not understand. The closest of the voices was deep, melodic, and familiar. Suki managed to gather enough of her strength to move her arm, numbly grabbing what she thought to be someone's hand. The warmth drew her in as she began to move toward it, wanting to be rid of the painful cold. Once she was up against the source of the heat, she surrendered, her conscious mind falling away and succumbing to the pain and burning itch that spread across her body. And scene. Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know
It was
whether
a
to
good.
yell, "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious," but she's also being a little bit suspicious.
Who's being a little bit suspicious?
You and the little cryptic, and it's like, okay, so is she with Wayun, or I'm assuming, she is currently with Wayun, and now all of this shit, and poor Suki's been through. Look, from the alligators to now she's with Wolfman, which is not a Wolfman. It's just his freaking headdress. I'm like, look, eventually I'm going to be able to sit down and read this from cover to cover and understand it.
Yeah.
But, ma'am, I am fixing. I got the wrong one in my hand. I'm fixing to throw the damn book at you.
I had a little bit of difficulty keeping up with the phrasings. But does anybody remember the hiker? Does anybody remember the hiker?
The movie The Hiker?
No, my story.
Cash's story, The Hiker. You know, the one that we had to cut out because it got a little bit too...
That was when we were still over on the
clock.
Over on TikTok.
And does anybody remember how the evil freaking carnival clown ring top people were taking her to meet the Lord of Souls?
I forgot about that one. I mean, I didn't forget about the story, but
The Lord of Souls.
Do.
The Lord of Souls gives me a good way to get one of my B plots in.
Just twist everything around.
Yeah.
And
So
everything will absolutely start to make sense after the whole editing process. I mean, we already get the gist of the story, and we've got the dead king that freaking gives everybody the taint. I still have a hard time saying that word, but that's okay.
I've switched to saying infection. Not much better, but
it's forever the taint in my mind. And for those who were not hanging out with boys in the 90s, you don't understand, and be thankful. It will all make any hoozle. I can't. What I have gathered thus far from what we have read out is that Suki is the princess Zokera.
yes.
And Suki was her parents were attacked, murdered, whatever, something to that effect. And two elves actually whisked her away to the human world, specifically Lakeland, Florida. And
no, Fort Wayne. Or did you forget about that too?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yep, Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, my hometown, right here where I'm sitting. Anyway, eventually she ends up in Lakeland, Florida, and studying gators. And
Well, she
as she's
reptiles. But the one particular, the last thing that I remember we leave her off on is she just got hurt again because some dumbass.
yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
That guy's name was Gabe, right?
Yes.
It's always a Gabe. I've only ever met one Gabe that I liked. Still friends with him on some socials. Of course, I'm not his type, so yeah. Any hoozle. And basically because she is a dragoness, she's about to go through her first molt, and so we have to get her back to Etlon so that way when she goes through her first molt, she doesn't lose her ever-loving mind, transform into a full-fledged dragon, and wreak havoc on our Earth. And when she comes through, okay, now she's between the veils and everything, and she doesn't understand the language, and oh, she just met her mother-in-law.
Well, she met her mother-in-law, and she's only technically met her husband or husband-to-be. In dreams.
In dreams.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all crisscrossy, whatever.
It
guess
is
what?
very crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, and we good. We're good.
We are not good. I need to know what happens.
I
Like, is she on the other? Like, I have questions here. Is she on the other side? Did she make it into the realm of?
wait. She's in the veil between the worlds.
No, no, no,
She
no. She woke up. Well, halfway woke up. But is her body on this side of the freaking uh line, or is it on that side?
did you miss that?
Leon, are you talking to Leon?
No, I'm talking to Julie. I don't have the chat up in front of me right now.
Oh, okay.
Did you miss
I'll
that?
deal with that then.
She was when she woke up between the veils.
Yes,
so her
I was there.
her unconscious body is on the side of the living, and when she was fading away, Lariah took her back to where she woke up in the library.
Mm-hmm. And she went back to the land of the living. But which side of the land of the living is she on?
Oh, which realm? Is she in Etlon
That's
or is
my
she in our
yes.
Earth?
Etlon.
What?
That doesn't
Etlon.
spoil anything.
No.
Okay.
And
See,
and there was a
did she get knocked out in our realm and she woke up in that between the whales from there, or was she brought over and then ended up there, like spiritually ended up there? So I'm like, I'm slightly lost. Don't worry, we're getting Todd back.
Yeah. No, Todd is just not present at that moment.
Right. Don't worry, we're getting Todd back. Even Trisha's like, what about Todd?
Yeah, no, Todd's in the book. Todd has been brought into the book. I managed to somehow get him into the book and get rid of all that craziness from March.
I'll be happy if Liz disappears. Thank you very much.
Never, ever.
But it is. I very much liked the thing that you did about the names, right? Because I've even mentioned okay, I've gone by Liz, Elizabeth, Izzy, Lizzie. I've had all of these different last names, but that doesn't change who I am. Doesn't matter, and it, okay, I hate to be that person, but a rose would smell as sweet
A
with
rose
any
by
other
any.
name, right? So, it doesn't. I tend not to get too upset about somebody calling me the wrong name, but it depends on which wrong name. I mean, hell, when I'm not standing up. There's a picture of me with a shaved head right up there. And people used to come up to me and go, "Excuse me, sir." And when I turn around and I have these and a name tag that says Elizabeth and a higher voice, a feminine voice, they're like, "Oh shit, I am so sorry." And I'm like, "It's fine. I know what I look like. How can I help you?" They don't know what to do with that. So that whole thing that a name doesn't change who you are in your essence, in your core. It might change what you mean to other people, but it doesn't change what you mean to yourself.
Right.
All right. Now, Julie,
Okay.
you better
You-
have that microphone in
yeah,
that book handy.
I do. Can you give me like 2 seconds though
Oh,
before you start up?
yep.
I just got to go check on the little.
Oh yeah, Leon. Wayun. I had to have Kesh pronounce it for me 15 times before I felt comfortable saying it. We were driving back from, I think, Tennessee. And kept saying it, and so I had in my head a completely different spelling, and then I saw it on the page, and I was just like, "Wait, what?"
Okay, I don't have cake, but I do have these adorable little Dove ice creams.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna pop one now, just to kind of sate me, so I don't throw something right off the bat, and then we're good to go.
I
Okay.
had the Pillsbury little fruit pockets. What do you want to call them? Toaster strudels.
Oh, yeah. I don't like those either. Hot Pockets and toaster strudels. Don't like them. I'm weird though, but we knew this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am giving you guys absolutely no context to this. None. I know I normally do. I am giving you none. October 17th, 2021, 4:50 p.m. PDT, Thistledown Estate. They fell silent after ending the call with Phillips. Callum's hand stayed firm on the wheel, his foot heavier on the accelerator. The silence wasn't companionable. It was taut, crowded with things neither of them dared to name. Finn had called her, yes, but not because he cared for her. He was scared. She was familiar. Odette turned her head slightly, watching Callum from the corner of her eye. The muscles in his forearms flexed against the steering wheel. His knuckles whitened every time the road curved. From the disheveled hair to the dark circles under his eyes and the stubble shadowing his jaw, he looked as if he hadn't slept in days. Even the small twitch in his cheek betrayed the strain beneath his quiet. He's scared too. His gaze stayed fixed ahead, squinting toward the tree line, looking for the walls of home. So you. Her voice came out raw, cracking from emotion and the long waited silence between them. She swallowed and tried again. So you've been living in denial all these years? He startled, eyes flicking toward her. What? The reaction hit her like a physical force, tightening her chest, heat rushing up her throat until her breath caught. Her palms were damp before she realized she'd been gripping her knees. You have been living a life of denial all these years, she said quieter now, but no less certain. Callum shot her a sidelong glance. What are you talking about? You were jealous, so you left Thistledown. You moved to Seattle to escape. Teddy, seriously. You want to talk about this now? He shifted in his seat, adjusting his grip on the wheel, eyes flicking to the rearview mirror as if the reflection might offer him an exit. She hated pressing him, but there wouldn't be another chance. Her visions had returned over the past week, fragmented as always, disturbing in a new way, and she couldn't afford to be distracted by unfinished feelings once they reached Thistledown. After Finn and I announced our engagement, you moved to Seattle, she continued softly. You could have kept your work remote. Why move to the city if not to get away from us? That's not, it's not what you think. But the flush along his throat said otherwise. His pulse gave him away. If not to avoid seeing us prepare for our wedding, then what was it? Odette turned fully toward him, tucking one leg under the other, patient but unwilling to relent. He drew a breath, jaw working. I just needed to find my own life, okay? Away from the family. He straightened suddenly, eyes narrowing at something ahead. Odette followed his gaze. There it was, Thistledown, rising from the mist exactly as she remembered. Her heart clenched. Callum, she whispered, her voice small now, careful. Before we get there, before everything starts again. A beat of silence. He cleared his throat. Before we get there, what, Daddy? She turned back to him, her lip trembling despite herself. Do you love me? He didn't answer right away. His jaw flexed, the muscle jumping once, twice. The road ahead narrowed through the trees, and for a long moment it was only the hum of the tires and the quiet, measured rhythm of his breath. Odette waited, her heart in her throat. Callum had never been good at hiding what he felt. His face told stories even when his mouth wouldn't. She could see it now, the surprise, the confusion, the slow, dawning understanding of what she had just asked him. Finally, he gave a short exhale that wasn't quite a laugh. Of course I love you, Daddy. We've known each other our whole lives. The answer was too quick, too neat. It sat between them like a lie trying to sound reasonable. She studied the side of his face, the fading sun behind them, casting shadows across its plains. She saw the flicker. Fear, maybe guilt. That's not what I mean, she said quietly. And you know it. Do you love me? His knuckles tightened again on the wheel. He didn't look at her this time. The pulse in his jaw was the only thing moving. Odette's stomach twisted. The weight of what she'd said hung in the air, sharp as ozone before a storm. For a moment, she thought he might answer. Then their turn came into view. The gate, the stone pillars, the iron crest, Yggdrasil. And he reached for the blinker instead. Hold that thought, he murmured, voice low and rough-edged. The words landed like stones in her chest. We're here. The car eased toward the gate, gravel crunching beneath the tires. The guard in the booth lifted his gaze to meet Odette's eyes. She vaguely recognized him, returning his brief nod. He swiped his key card. The gate slid back smoothly on its chain. Thank you, Kieran, because Aunt Julie's about to rip me a new one. Odette remembered the days when she had her own, another part of the life she left behind. As the drive curved past the last stand of trees, the house emerged half swallowed by mist and the soft encroaching dusk. Through the closed windows, she caught the scent of approaching wet, snow, perhaps rain, and her breath caught on the sight. She had missed this place. Her gaze flicked toward Callum, but she couldn't hold it. A prickling ran along her waterline as tears pooled. He didn't answer. Perhaps I was wrong. Maybe it's too late. Lanterns lined the path, flickering faintly against the dark grass. Her eyes caught the guards first, more than usual, spaced along the grounds, radios clipped to their shoulders, scanning the tree line rather than the house. Thistledown felt uneasy. Callum slowed past the main fountain. Water spilled over its stone rim in thin silver threads. They turned toward the carriage house, the heavy doors of his bay standing open, one light burning above, casting long stripes across the gravel. A woman stepped into the light, Huldra. Her pale hair was braided down her back, shoulders squared in the familiar black sport-like clothing she favored. She raised a straight-armed hand in a stopping gesture, sharp, commanding, unambiguous. Callum brought the car to a stop. For a long second, neither of them moved. The weak sunset glowed behind him as he shifted into park and cut the ignition. The hum of the engine faded, leaving only the sound of their breathing. Odette unbuckled. Before she could reach for the handle, his voice came, soft, almost a whisper. Odette. She stilled, her hand hovering mid-reach. She made no move to respond. Odette, he breathed. Look at me, please. She didn't want to. The tears that had gathered behind her lashes burned now, sharp, humiliating. She turned her face toward the window, pretending to watch for the mansion's west entrance door to open to welcome her inside. Would it matter? He said, voice even lower. If I loved you that way? Her breath caught. He waited. She could feel the weight of his gaze against her profile. You chose to be with Finn. That makes you off limits. She turned toward him then, slowly, as if pulled by something heavier than will. Forever? The word came out small, barely a breath. For a moment, neither of them blinked. The dimming light softened everything, the outlines of the guards outside, the air between them, even the edge of what had just been said. Callum's expression shifted, something like pain, something like resolve, and then he looked away. A sharp rap sounded at the driver's window. Huldra's gloved knuckles, brisk, practical. Time's up, Odette whispered. He exhaled, jaw tight, and opened his door. Cold air slipped in before the interior light blinked on. Odette followed, the crunch of gravel under her shoes loud after so much silence. Huldra waited a few paces off, the carriage house lights cutting a clean line across her face. She gave a short nod, palm out, gesturing for the keys in Callum's hand. I'll handle the car, sir. The light caught faint claw scars threading her cheek, silver where skin met shadow. Callum pressed the hatch button on the fob before dropping it into her hand. Odette walked to the rear, pulling out her case and her bag, slinging the latter over her shoulder before turning to face Thistledown once more. The air smelled of wet pine, cold iron, and the ghost of engine heat. Behind her, Callum pulled his bags free from the cargo hold. When the hatch shut, it sounded louder than it should have, echoing off the courtyard walls. They are waiting for you inside, Huldra said, her voice low, lightly accented, all business. She was already scanning the perimeter again, tracking a guard's flashlight as it passed through the trees. A soldier's awareness, never still, never soft. Good choice to guard Neve and the children. The entrance ahead opened, the corridor's warm glow beckoning her home, familiar, unforgiving. Philip stood just beyond it, tablet in hand, his expression tightened. Sir, Mr. Connors is waiting for you in his office. Odette felt Callum bristle behind her as she stepped past the threshold. Da's office, Philip's, not Finn's. Philip's jaw flexed once before he nodded. He shot Odette a quick look, something caught halfway between apology and restraint, then turned down the hall. Callum followed, their footsteps and low voices fading toward the ballroom stair. In the stillness of the foyer, Odette adjusted her grip on her bag and let out a slow breath. The quiet pressed close, thick with cedar polish and memory. She let Thistledown seep back into her soul. A distant clatter from the kitchens. Lavinia, likely making more of her famous bread. Footsteps down the west wing corridor. The direction of Moira's room. Her eyes stung. Not yet. She moved forward with purpose, her sensible sneakers making only the faintest sound on the wood floor, none at all when she crossed to the marble of the central ballroom. She followed in the wake of Callum and Phillips up the wide central stairs. At the top of the switchback, she hesitated. The corridor stretched before her, dimly lit, its runners soft underfoot. Thistledown seemed to breathe around her, the same muted lamps, the same old portraits, the same faint hum of the radiators. Only she felt different, a little smaller, a little more hollow. She moved forward, the wheels of her suitcase whispered against gleaming wood. The familiar faces, rendered in oil and shadow, watched in silence. Her fingers brushed the pillars between her and the gallery of timber barons and their families. The air grew cooler as she moved to the end of the line, still touched by the draft from the eaves. A shiver traveled through her, part memory, part exhaustion. When she reached the last door on the left, she slowed. The knocker had been polished recently. Even that small act carried Cordelia's care. She traced the wolf's teeth, the ring locked between its jaws. End scene.
Julie, you live closer. Because I can't send cash.
Why not? I'm 10 minutes up the road.
Julie will give her the mic toss that she deserved. You will be like, oh, girlfriend.
Possibly.
Yes, Julie?
Madame,
Uh-huh.
I said move the fucking story forward.
Uh-huh.
Not move the fucking story forward and not give me any fucking extra information. What the actual fuck?
She confronted him.
He didn't give her a fucking answer! Not one! Excuse after fucking excuse, but didn't give her a goddamn answer.
He said,
I'm
of
gonna
course I
whack
love you, Daddy.
him.
He did. He said, of course I love you, Daddy. We've known each other our whole
No,
lives.
no. You know what the fuck I mean.
Isn't that what Daddy said to Callum?
Yes.
And then he also said, like, would it matter if I did?
Yes, it would matter.
Not according
It
to
always
him.
fucking matters.
I know, but not according to him. Please remember, he's also 40 years old, and we know what happened to me 4 40-year-olds in a row. As soon as they hit 40, any hoozle, I got them from the road over to the I got them back into Thistledown.
Throw the book at you.
She's throwing a lot of things at people this week.
I don't have a whack-a-mole.
I'm working on it. I really am.
So I'm gonna have to throw things at people if I don't have a whack-a-mole.
I'm working on it.
Will there
I
be
mean,
more
I love you.
choice words later?
I love you with every fiber of my being.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Still gonna smack. It's like,
What am I supposed to do? Make Callum be honest about things he's not ready to be honest about?
no, but I want him to feel fucking guilty about it. I want him to be eaten alive until he actually says the fucking words and actually admits his fucking feelings for her.
Right, but like she said, he's living in denial.
Yeah, and that's not just a river in Egypt.
Nope.
Anywho, last submission of the night is from one Artemis Elf. Don't know if she's still here or not. But she finally did get in because I saw her, saw her earlier. Art, if you're still or Artemis, if you're still here, sound off. So we're just very passionate about each other's work to our audience. Yes, we threaten each other on a constant because of what we put our poor fucking characters through and the fact that we're jumping through hoops over here trying to piece fucking information together from shows that were months ago. And in the same time, we are also trying to be very encouraging and supportive. And I have the feeling that there will be duct tape involved because somebody's going to make her fucking finish it. Both of them. I don't care if I got to duct tape them in the same damn room, two separate damn computers.
I mean, I'm like in the home stretch for this first draft, redraft, or whatever you want to call it. So,
Yeah, it's your first draft because the
It's
original thing that you
yeah.
put together was your zero draft, the one with all of the mistakes, missing plot points, and and now you're going through. This is your first draft of taking that idea and really filling in the gaps and doing all the things. So then once you
Yes.
do that, you start from the top and you work on cleanup.
Well, some people say, when you're done, put it away for a little while, walk away from it for about like 2-3 months,
Here's
and
the
then
thing, Julie.
yeah,
Remember,
we can't do that.
She did put it away for 14 years.
Right. So, like I said, we can't do that because as soon as I'm done, I might leave it alone for like 3-4 days, and then I'm right in it trying to get shit done. But yes, Artemis Elf is here. So
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. Get the name up on the board and we're going to get started. This is our last submission of the night, so make sure that you hang out for the voting of next week's prompts afterwards.
yes, I'm getting the dice ready while you're doing that. I have to distract myself, but God help it, I got to get more of those little Dove ice creams. Those are fucking the bomb. And they weren't that expensive.
No?
They're only
All
$5.
right. Here we go. Artemis Elf. Oops, if I don't knock into my shit. The fog swallowed the lighthouse as if it had never been there, or at least it seemed to in the picture, tattered along the edges and curled in the corners from being bent out of shapes too many times. Morgan tried to smooth it out. How long had it been since she thought of that place? The house on the lake and the sunny days with her brothers and sister. They danced in the sand in the summers and huddled around the space heaters in the winter. School days were long, but somehow the brief breaks were longer. A smile twitched in the corner of her lips, but vanished too soon with the scream of jets overhead. The siren wailed and the tarp draped over her ramshackle stead shook violently in the forced wind. Morgan tucked the photo into the threadbare sleeve of her duster and crawled to the metal plate propped on the wall, one that often served as a table when there was food, when they awarded food for obedience, if they were willing to obey at all. She clenched her eyes, covering her head and ears as the sirens continued to sound and more jets rushed by, their sonic boom blasting the ground. The cups and shelves rattled and then silence. Silence fell and dust settled slowly in the thick moats the way it had years ago when she was a child. Those days were best forgotten. Morgan clutched her head tighter, lowering between her knees as she braced, counting steadily beneath her breath. It was almost over. She reminded herself the way she had so long ago. No, it wasn't her. It was Luke. His arms tightened around her, keeping her firm to his chest. The air shook around them under the scream of jets and rumbles of thick tread and heavy tanks plowing down the street. Morgan sniffled, whimpering as she clutched his arms. They didn't know where Daniel, Alex, or Kyle had gone, and Caitlin had been missing for days. Those men, their faces covered, had pointed to her while they were walking to school. They whispered about her hair, her skin, the way she talked, and didn't dare meet their gaze with her dark eyes. When they'd grabbed her, snatching her from the sidewalk just beyond the school gates, there hadn't been a thing Morgan could do. No kicking or screaming stopped them when they held her down on the ground, 5 men and a knee into her face. The zip ties cut into her wrists, and she begged them to let her go. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The men dragged her like a lame dog and threw her in the van, slammed the doors, and she was gone. Morgan prayed and hoped every day she would come back, that the men would be punished for taking her away when she'd done nothing wrong. It wasn't her fault she had tanned so profoundly that summer, nor that she had hair so glossy it looked black in the right light. Caitlin followed the rules, but they took her. And then they came for her father, who had harbored her. And the next thing they knew, they were living in the abandoned lake cottage. The boys had to work, and civil duties paid the best. Kyle hated the stifling heat under the layers of masks, and Alex was a horrible shot. But they told him that it didn't matter because a kill was a kill, and if killing had to happen, it was necessary. Luke and Daniel worked the farms. Daniel cared for animals. Luke came home by lunch when his morning picking was done, and when the planes flew by, he took Morgan by the arms and dragged her to the closet or under a table, anywhere that was safe. They're going to kill us, she cried, burying into his chest. No, not today, he whispered, wrapping a blanket around her, slipping it over her head. They're not going to kill us, not here. Just remember to find cover and you're safe, all right? She snorted, pushing back from him. You think that will stop them? They'll take me. You're not pretty like Caitlin. You'll be fine. Ouch. He didn't mean that, but it was true. Morgan was the same as every other girl with blonde hair, uneven pink skin, and fair eyes. There was nothing special about her. Luke turned, peeking over his shoulder as the knob on the back door jostled. Knox pounded and a voice called out an order. Stay here. You'll be safe, he said. I'll be safe, Morgan repeated. Her fingers dug into her scalp as she rocked forward on her toes, waiting for the sound that didn't come. But she was sure she heard it anyway. The wind died down. The tarp quieted, but still her breathing came fast and hard, waiting. I'll be safe, she said again, a mantra that kept her alive. Is anyone in here? A voice came, something or someone disturbing the tents. Morgan stopped. Her breath caught in her chest as they drew closer. The thud of their boots came heavy against the cardboard flooring. For nearly a decade, she'd lived among the others who'd lashed out and demanded the breaking of the crown. They would serve no king and became enemies of the state. For nearly a decade, she had been safe, hidden beneath a blanket and refuge, just as Luke had told her. Why had these men come now? Morgan? He said, peeling back the metal sheet. She turned, her eyes wide in terror as she stared up at the man with a gas mask, his face hidden entirely, not a patch of skin exposed. Kyle? Her voice shook as she spoke, barely able to unfurl her arms, trembling as she reached for him. Kyle, how did you find me? He stared, empty and almost sad. Clear? Someone outside called. No, we've got one here, he said, turning slightly to answer over his shoulder. Kyle, no, please, she begged, but couldn't bring herself to reach him. The other masked man peeked in, sighed loudly, and waved for others to come their way. What a mess, he said. I figured the bombs would have cleared all this shit out. Do you think she felt anything? Kyle said, soft and distant. Look at her, the other replied. She didn't live long enough to feel it. I bet she didn't even see the flash. Probably the last thing she heard was the planes, sirens, that's about it. Morgan looked back and forth between them. Kyle set the metal sheet back down, turned away, and left with the other masked men. She looked at her hands, filthy from poverty, and crawled from the space enough to take in the remaining mess. The cups from the shelves had fallen and smashed, and her dinner had shaken off the stove, spilling on the floor. They were right. It was a mess. But there was no reason to talk about her that way. What did they think had happened to her? Had they never seen shock, PTSD? If they had, they didn't care. As far as they were taught, those sorts of things were made up. a lie the other side crafted to make people weak. So, his voice came suddenly, soft as it had when they'd hidden in the cottage. Morgan turned, expecting to see Luke, but instead saw a man crouched atop the makeshift counter. He rested his head in his hand and smiled pleasantly. With a wave of his fingers, he straightened and dropped his legs to dangle. You've been living in denial all these years? Denial? She huffed and scooted along the floor. About what? The chance for anything to get better? The man, as familiar as the day and as mysterious as the night, lifted his gaze, looking toward the tent door. When she swiveled her head to follow, the shack she'd crafted turned abruptly into the cottage. The door cracked and creaked as the bolt locks broke. Daylight and dark attire flooded the room, guns drawn, naming chaotically in every direction. Luke held up his hands, but it was no use. Blood popped and sprayed from his back and gushed in thick fountains from his chest. His knees hit the ground, arms curling in, and he was gone. Someone pointed a finger her way, shouting, but there were no lips to see moving. Morgan scurried back against the closet wall as she did in the shack, crawling away until she hit the storage barrel. No, please, don't make me go back. The stranger waved a hand, then rolled his wrist to summon a long staff with a curved blade. I never enjoy it when the end for such a young life is so violent. Perhaps we can go back to something more pleasant. No, she wheezed, gripping her head again. No, I escaped. I ran through the field. I remember the flowers in the sky and you were dragged for a long time, he said. Then how did I get here? You've been in a denial for a very long time, Morgan. He stepped down from the counter and came to her, crouching. He reached out, his soft fingers stroking her face. Don't you see that Kyle is no older? Morgan looked toward the door. He hadn't changed one bit. How? You were dragged for a long time, he repeated. No. She dropped her head, gripping knots in her hair again. No, that's not it. I escaped. Where did you go? I crawled. I got away from them, she croaked as she looked at the metal sheet made as a table. The room warped, blending with what was and what she had dreamed it to be. The mess remained, but the room was flatter, burned. Her body ached, her stomach screaming in pain. She buckled forward, agony swallowing her. Then it vanished as the man scooped her face into his cool hands. You don't need to feel that anymore, he said softly. It's over. Who are you? She whispered, tears burning in her eyes. You already know, Morgan. When? Zahn smiled, slipping silently to the side to reveal the young girl wrapped in a blanket. She was hardly recognizable, her flesh burned and peeled away, and the saturation of blood nearly blackening her wrappings. Even those were badly charred and melted into her form. Beneath her fingers lay the protected picture of the lighthouse, the fog on the winter's day. It was the last good thing she'd had before the soldiers and the tanks, the missiles and the guns. Have I been dead this whole time? Yes. Did they kill me? Eventually. I don't want to remember. You don't have to, he said, taking her hand. Not anymore. It's over, Morgan. It's time to rest. I just want to go home, she whispered. They're all waiting for you. End scene.
That was a ride, and it was intense. It was a very intense ride. Because you didn't know where you were going next.
Artemis Elf has a preoccupation with death.
I mean, comes for all of us eventually.
Oh, I know. I know. But just about everything that I have read, there's death like right there in it, laced in it.
I see.
And it's always good. Oh, always good. And poignant. And timely.
That was the other thing about that. I was like,
She is a dystopian writer.
yeah.
Yes.
So that makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm not gonna say what's going on in my head right now. I am not gonna do that. I will just do this. Artemis Elf! Because I could full government name your ass right now. I could so full government name your ass. But instead, you know what? I'm just gonna throw the damn book at you. Throw the book.
And then I pull out this pen. No, I'm throwing it back in. Throwing it back in. I don't want to use that pen. Mm-mm. Fuck that pen.
Yeah, dun is right. I'm redeeming.
There are so many things I could say.
Emotional damage.
Submissions tonight. Literally amazing submissions tonight. And to give us all a little boost after that while we're getting everything set up, I already got the dice pulled. But we are only 12,375 words from a half. No, ma'am, I am not good. I will talk to you later.
She's not good.
I'm
She
not.
is not good, Elf. She is not. Okay.
Better run. I'm not saying that I'm coming. That's a long ass fucking drive. But just understand that I've plotted that fucking course out already. Mostly it was to take somebody's fucking car apart. But I mean that's accurate.
Next week, October 18th. Oh, and that was all the submissions. So it is a safe assumption that we will not be going live tomorrow. Additionally, I have a wake to go to. And since it's an Irish wake, I will not be sober enough to go live. So there we go.
We were trying to get this all into one night.
All into one night, but we will be back on the 18th. 18th? Yes, the 18th with one of these prompts.
All right, here we go. Everybody get your listening ears on, and I expect everybody's voting. 38.
Concept. A character discovers that threatening to government name me and reveal how to find all my books. Okay.
All right, GT Gretz.
All right. I mean, look at that. Look at that gorgeous dystopian cover. I'm just saying. Designed by the author themselves. Okay. Anyway, let's go back. Here's the concept. A character discovers that the person they've trusted their whole life is not who they say they are.
Fuck you.
Oh my God. What I could write with that one, but it would be all spoilers for for the entire book.
Next roll, please.
$79.
All right, we're going to roll down to 179. Where's my mouse? Okay, there it is. Nope, do it again. That one's already been rolled. We have decided how we're going to address this already rolled thing next year.
44.
144. I'm a little concerned what Gretz would do with this one. A character is tasked with investigating a string of disappearances that all seem to have occurred in a specific spot, but no one knows why.
We're not bringing Brantley out until I'm done doing this one. $64.
Starting first line. They walked into the storm with their heads held high.
Mm. 30.
Prompt 130. Starting first line. The moment I stepped into the room, everything went quiet.
$16.
Use this dialogue. My name is on the list of people who died last Tuesday, and I have no idea why.
Mothman.
Mothman.
80.
180. Use this dialogue. What do you expect me to say? He asked, raising his hands in frustration. What words will make this better?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, I do want to make also a side note that you will see in the chat on the side. Number 5, the one about my name is on the list of people who died last Tuesday. That was submitted by our very own Dahlia.
Yep. All right, guys. Vote away.
Time to vote.
Time to put your 2 cents in.
Yeah, I'm going with 6.
Oh. There's so many good ones in this.
So far, everyone's voting 6, though.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. But I gotta vote with my heart, even if I'm going against the grain.
Of course.
Oh, pardon me.
It's that cake.
It's also the massive amounts of Dr. Pepper I've been chugging.
That would do it, too.
I'm sorry. And actually the fact that everybody else is not voting for that one is going to help me because I'm not actually ready to write that scene, and it would be way too much spoiler alert. But there we go. That's the first time I've talked about spoiler alerts that I can't reveal. All
Okay.
right. Shay's got 5. I do like that one. My name is on the list of people who died last Tuesday, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
That one just, oh.
You
If
could easily pair 5 and 6 together in the right scene.
Yep. In the right scene, in the right story, in the right book, definitely could. I just, I that would be an entirely new story for me. And I've got 49.
Oh, you could do
Planned.
5, and 6 all together
I know,
easily.
but that'd be a different story. Oh God, he's foaming at the mouth. Shit.
He's got plans.
The last time he did that, we got Kingdom of Shadows, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
No. Let's call a spade here. The last time we did that, we got the gargoyle story.
No, not that exact. There was a tone, a frothing of the mouth when Heart of Stone, when he started introducing it to us, he was like, he. No, that was a frothing, and the last time he did that, when he was like, oh, it's when he introduced us to Dr. Anderson.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we have all votes in? I don't know where we're at with viewership right now.
We got 8 viewers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leon hasn't voted.
And neither have you.
I know, but I'm over here playing Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Yeah, but it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for him. He may have dozed back off.
He may have and left us on. That's entirely possible. I'm more concerned about how Julie constantly leaves it off as long as she possibly can, overthinking it so that she never has to vote.
Hey, look, as long as they're a majority, it doesn't matter what I vote.
No, you still need to participate.
I am participating. With a lack of participation. Any one of these going to be fucking scene, and a scene that I don't know if we're ready to hear.
But which one would you be the most excited to sit down and write next?
Oh, the next scene?
No. Okay, so out of these prompts, okay, which one is like, oh, I would so love to write that scene, this next scene, and use that? Which one screams that the loudest?
3.
Okay, see? That wasn't so fucking hard. You and I lose anyway. But the point is, you need to start going, ooh, these, That one I would be the most. That one right there. The voting is about what you would most be excited. The one that sparks your creativity the most. Because I don't like seeing you or anybody else going, I gotta put this prompt in. Like it's, don't let it be super like, ugh.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all go together.
Yep. But, the more you force it, forcing all of them in or, but regardless, Porsche is also outvoted, but that's fine. This is somewhat a democracy when it comes to which one is the official.
We're a democratic republic.
Yeah.
Unless I have to be a tiebreaker.
Or unless I start making decisions in the back end and just tell Julie that's what we're doing.
Like when we jumped on today. It's like, okay, this is how we're doing this today. Okay.
Yep. So it is official. It is in the Discord. The official dialogue. What do you expect me to say? He asked, raising his hands in frustration. What words will make this better? Is the official prompt. And I do so absolutely love Dahlia's. That one, like, I wish I had something that I could write for that right now. That's just, chef's kiss. And you can always save these for concepts or things that you want to do later. Next year we're going to actually not leave unchosen prompts in the list. So I won't have to sit here and tell Julie to re-roll.
Unless we don't have that number. But we will already have known that.
Right. So keep your submissions coming in. You come across the line, a concept, something, send them to our holdmypenpromptcast@gmail.com. Put them in the writing prompt channel. I will put a green checkmark response when it has been added to the official listings. And yeah, we give credit where credit is due. right? It literally says there in the chat, submitted by Dahlia. So there we go. That's the thing. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. Please do that so that way you know the official rules. We do ask when you submit. Obviously, you submit your own work, but tell us the pen name that you would like to go by. If you would prefer not to have your real name, or you want to just go by a screen name, whatever, and or if you want to go by anonymous. Okay, we do already have 3 anonymous people that are different, separate people. So yeah, that's that. The rules are also in the Discord, which can be searched and whatnot. There we go. That's all I got.
That's all I got. Are we gonna raid out tonight because EJ's on?
Well, it's already 11 o'clock. You want to raid out? I'm totally cool with that. Make sure we do it after we actually see the thanks for watching hit the screen.
Right.
And we'll be good.
Other than that,
we are not going live tomorrow.
We are not going live tomorrow. So, same bat time, same bat channel next week. Remember, don't add to the population, don't subtract from the population. If you get arrested, assert dominance, call and see if I got bail money. Other than that, be brave, be bold, but always stay humble. And we will see you again next week.